Hey guys, it's Cassie Gaymer, and today I am playing a visual novel horror psychological horror game called Disturbed. You might have heard of it in 2016 when this game first came out. Jacksepticeye did do a playthrough of it. I don't know if Markiplier did, but I do know Jacksepticeye did a playthrough. It's being a pain in the ass to record though. Another dull day passes as you struggle to manage your failing farm. Your crops are beginning to wilt, and your cow is sick. For some time, the land has been very quiet. The air grows thick and foul. Each passing day, you feel more uncertain if things will ever return to how they were before. Perhaps it's up to you? You've made up your mind. You are going to do something about it. Oh, is there no sound? There's no sound in this game. You stand in front of your humble home, pondering what you should do next. Let's go to the shed. You attempt to open the shed door, but the door won't budge. You remember locking it some time ago, but you can't remember what you did with the key. Let's go to the house. Entering the house, you feel a subtle uneasiness, as if the growing blight outside has penetrated the walls of your safe haven. From what you see, however, everything is the same as you left it. Perhaps this may be a good time to just lay in bed and wish that your problems will just go away. You fight the notion, but the temptation is still there. Let's open the chest. You open the chest and find nothing more than a pile of papers. It seems you have less valuables than you anticipated. Close the chest. Read the journal. Dear Journal, another usual day on the farm. The crops are growing with good health. Beth Ann is also doing quite well, never disappointed with the milk she provides. If things continue to go well, I may be able to invest in more animals. A farmer can only be so social with a cow. Dear Journal, today's been an unfortunate day. Somebody broke into my shed and stole some things. I usually don't mind if someone steals a bite to eat from the garden, but to take my equipment? Well, I put a lock on the door and hit the key. Nobody will ever get into my stuff again. Dear Journal, I woke up one night to a foul smell that I've never come across before. I took a step outside to see what I could find, but I found nothing after searching about the farm. Whatever it is, it must be bad. I should make a trip to the city to see what this is about. Let's lay in bed, just for a minute. You lay in bed and fall asleep to the light sound of wind blowing outside against the grass. You begin to hear whispers and chants. You can't make anything of it. An image appears before you, a stone, glowing as if it were alive. The chants get louder as your vision grows in more detail. You reach towards the stone with your hand. As your fingers make contact, a clash of thunder rattles around you. Your clothing and skin start to flake away, like dust in the wind. The particles flow into the stone, sapping the life from your body. You feel pain you have never experienced before, and fear begins to flood over you. Oh my. You suddenly see yourself laying in bed, never to wake up again. Your adventure ends here. Oh, well, that was one ending, I guess. Let's start it over again. All right. So we know what happens if we go in the house and lay down and go to bed and stuff. So let's go to the crops this time. A path divides the crops you have labored so hard to prosper these past months. A penetrating odor reminds you that your plants are decaying away, and time is running short. Follow the path. You continue down the trail for a while until you see a cave off in the distance. You pause, questioning if there could be something helpful in there. Go to the cave. There's a faint whistle from the wind passing between the rocks. The temperature significantly cools as you enter the cave. You notice that there's a different smell, but you welcome it, comparing it to the deathly blight found outside. Go further in the cave. Oh boy, it's a bear! Before you take your next step, a large bear emerges from the darkness. You realize you've made a terrible mistake, even thinking that something helpful could be in here. Let's fight the bear! You scan the ground and notice that there are numerous rocks you can grab to throw at the bear. This is a great idea. You begin to do so as the bear approaches you. One after another, you throw the rocks as hard as you can. The bear charges you as you bend over to grab another rock, tackling you to the ground. The bear bites into your neck. Your body quickly goes limp and you die. Your adventure ends here. Let's do it again. I mean, not the bear, the thing. Let's go to the crops. This time, let's go to the pen. Oh, is the cow dead? Oh my god. A toxic fume burns your nose as you enter the pen. Your poor cow lays lifeless on the ground, and as a growing blight slowly begins to consume her body. You feel sick to your stomach as you stand there, especially as you stare at the black mushrooms that dot the ground. Inspect the water. You inspect the water looking for anything abnormal. You notice that the water has a dark consistency to it. Dropping a stone into it, black particles from the bottom swirl about like a thunderstorm. Your face shrivels in disgust. Grab a mushroom. You kneel down and grab a mushroom. As you begin to rip it out of the ground, a cloud of spores sprays from the mushroom. Your hands begin to burn and melt as you observe them. Slowly, your body shrivels up into a dark, moist consistency as the poison spreads. You die, eventually, after crawling about on the ground. Your adventure ends here. Jeez, okay. Let's go to the crops. Let's follow the path. Let's continue down the path. We'll bypass the cave. You come to a stop as you stumble upon a broken wagon. Inspect the wagon. You look about the mess and find bits of food and clothes scattered about the scene. You notice a key on the ground during your search. Oh, that goes to our shed. You pick up the key and continue on your way. After what felt like an hour or two, you reach a bridge. Nearby the path is a small shack, similar to the house you have on the farm. The man that lives here is a kind fellow from what you recall. Maybe he's home. Inspect the shack. You walk towards the structure and knock on the door. You scratch the back of your head, figuring that the person that lives here is currently occupied, if not elsewhere. You remember picking up a key from the wagon and you use it on the door. The door unlocks. Oh, I thought the key would go to our shed. Never mind. You decide to help yourself in. Observing the empty room, you realize something terrible must have taken place here. The room's a wreck, just like the wagon. You're overcome with fear as you think of the man that used to dwell here. Inspect the book. You pick up the book and start to flip through the pages. You discover that this is a journal. Reading a passage or two can't hurt. Does everybody keep a journal here? Today's trading went smoothly, thank goodness. What I am thrilled most about, however, is what one of my buddies mentioned to me at the conclusion of our day. Apparently, there is a pond nearby that has some of the biggest fish in the region. With a good catch, I could make enough to move things forward. I was caught off guard when he mentioned that nobody has been able to catch any from there. I guess your typical fishing rod won't do the trick, but what can be done about it then? Something to be intrigued about, I suppose. These past couple weeks have been really rough for me. My trading business has gone under and I have lost nearly everything I own. This has pushed me to extremes, but that can't be helped now. I'm leaving this place forever, never to return. The land is dying and there's nothing but darkness here. Anyone reading this should leave while they can. You can't find a name to give to this man, but regardless of the name, you got chills running up and down your spine. Okay, let's look at the trapdoor. You observe the trapdoor and notice a lock keeping it closed. With the key, you unlock the hatch and get it open. Key just unlocks everything. Without thinking, you travel downward. Oh shit! Walking down the steps leading below, the air attacks your body with a piercing cold. You notice immediately that there's a woman chained to a wall. She doesn't seem to notice you as you study her. You feel darkness surround you as you stay in this awful place. Talk to the woman. You tremble as you try to find the words in your mouth. You there, let me out of here. The pressure of such a demand makes you freeze. You take a moment to think about the situation before you respond. What got you locked up to begin with? You'll never believe me, even if I told you the truth. Something brought you here. Please, have mercy on me. Let's free the woman. You approach the woman and unlock the shackles that bind her. As her arms become free, she moans in pain. Oh, thank you so much. The woman struggles to regain her strength, but starts to stand up on her own. As she gets up, she turns towards you. That scared me a little bit. I will now do you a favor. Oh, shit. What seemed to be the face of a helpless woman disappears as a horrible image manifests before you. You feel the chilling grip of bone hands lock onto your arms. Energy flees your body and you fall to your knees. You feel the essence of your life slip away as everything goes black. It's unfortunate that your journey ends here. Let's go back. Okay, we know what happens in the shack, so let's just cross the bridge instead. You cross the bridge safely and continue down the trail. After all that's happened, you feel that you should take a moment to rest. You find a spot under a tree and sit down. Getting comfortable, you tilt your head back against the tree and gaze into the sky. Let's pick at the grass. As you pick at the grass blades in your reach, the ground begins to shake. Before you can get up, the roots from below sprout from the ground and wrap around your legs. You turn around to see a large, angry face looking back at you. Your jaw drops in horror. No sound or scream escapes your tongue as the tightening grip of the roots squeeze what air is left out of your body. Your adventure ends here. Is there a way to not die? So we will cross the bridge. We will take a nap instead. Your eyes close and your body relaxes. You fall asleep within seconds. As your mind wanders, you see a blurry image. Details emerge as you gaze. You wonder who this might be. A bad feeling then comes over you, and you realize who this is. You try to wake yourself up. You wake up and jump to your feet, looking about yourself and your surroundings. All seems well. You can't help but feel fearful that something bad will happen to you if you stay here. Moving forward seems like the only logical option now. You reach a point where the trail splits into two paths. Which should you go? All right, we're in a quick save. Let's go left first. After continuing down the path for some time, you come to a stop. You notice that there is some sort of trail that leads through the grass up towards a nearby hill. If you had not stopped, you probably would not have noticed. Which way do you go? Let's follow the trail into the grass. Following the subtle trail in the grass, you stumble upon what looks like a grave. Inspect the grave. You approach the grave. You look at the sword with intrigue. Before you can touch the sword, a ghostly figure appears before you. You freeze before the apparition. The sword. May I have it? The blade is cursed. I am bound here by the pain of my past. If you desire the sword, free me from it. You slowly motion for the sword. Fool! Only something of a pure essence can free me. A rare hope like a flower found in darkness. Grab the sword. You reach for the sword. Before you can lay a finger on it, the spirit grabs your arm. A sharp pain flows over your body as your flesh melts off your bones. What fragments remain fall on the ground. Your adventure ends here. Okay, so go left. Let's continue down the path. You walk for some time to find an endless field of grass. There's a stone well near the path. Let's inspect the well. You peer down the well. Other than the evident water at the bottom, there's a coin resting against the wall. If possible, you feel you should go down and take the coin. Let's grab the coin. You lean over the edge of the well. There is no possible way you can obtain the coin by reaching for it. With this in mind, you turn and climb down along the inner wall of the well. You take a few successful steps down, but your luck runs out. You misplace your foot and fall. Tumbling about, your body clashes against the stone walls. With a single knock to the head, you lose all consciousness of your accident. With a splash, you fall into the water. Your body sinks effortlessly, and you drown without realizing it. Your adventure ends here. Great! Continue on. Walking over hills of grass and grain, you reach the walls of Aramor. Several times a year, you come here to trade goods from the farm. You discover the plague that has spread to your farm is also spread all the way out here. The path before you is overrun with blight. Continue. You have come a long way and don't desire to turn back now. You march forward into the tainted soil. Before you can realize what happened, you sink completely under the ill soil. Darkness consumes you, and your lungs struggle for air. Your body burns in pain as you suffocate and die. Your adventure ends here. Is there a way to not die? Oh my god. Let's go back to where it splits and go right this time. You reach the end of the pathway. In the distance is a tower looking over the area. A gate secures passage to the area with a wall around the property. Also of interest, there's a tree that has a hole carved into it. Let's inspect the tree. You approach the tree and notice the hole is big enough to fit your hand in. You look and see something shiny in the hole as if it were metal. Feeling around with your hand, you find 3 knobs. One on the right, one center in the middle, and one on the left. Let's press the knobs. Press the left one. Press the middle. Press the right. The knob locks in place. You wait for a moment, but nothing happens. It must be some sort of combination. I don't know. We'll come back to that. Let's go to the gate. You approach the gate cautiously. Enter. Standing before the tower, your heart begins to sink. There's no doubt the birthplace of spreading plague. There's a fountain before you with statues on your right and left. Inspect the fountain. There's a dark haze about the fountain. The water is black and the smell burns with every breath. You feel a slight pull toward the fountain as if it were calling for something. Inspect the statue on the left. You see an old statue of an angel that has been consumed by vines of thorn. The angel is holding a book in one hand and the other with one finger pointed towards the sky. You feel it best to leave this statue alone. The statue on the right. Before you stands an old statue that has broken many areas. With one hand, the angel's holding some sort of bowl while the other hand is hovering over the bowl. You notice that there's only 2 remaining fingers on the angel's other hand. You feel you should keep your distance and just observe the statue. Let's enter the tower. You approach the door. As you reach the doorknob, an invisible barrier stops you. It must be some sort of magic. So wait, the one on the left had 1 finger and the one on the right had 2. Does that have anything to do with the tree? Like that? I don't know. So I looked it up. Okay, there we go. I did it backwards. I did right, right, left. It's supposed to be left, right, right. You hear the rumbling of rocks as the ground starts to shift beneath you. Everything goes dark and you sink below the surface. The hole above seals you up, trapping you underground. You find yourself with no evident way out, but the path before you into darkness. Your only choice is to move forward. You see 3 separate paths within the walls of the cavern. Which do you choose? Let's go left. You cautiously make your way through the darkness. You come to a split in the paths. Which way do you go? Let's go left again. You move forward into the darkness. You see 3 separate paths. Okay, so that looped around. Let's go left and then go right this time. You struggle forward as the way before you becomes completely dark. You notice that there's a light off in the distance and you continue to make your way forward. Eventually, you make it into some sort of concrete room. Turning around, you see a hole in the wall where you came from. Your guess is that it wasn't part of the initial design. You turn around to see a door. There being little to nothing in the room, you decide to move on through the doorway. You find yourself in what looks like a basement. You turn about to discover that in each direction there's a door. Boxes of supplies and debris litter the floor and corners of the room. You notice that there are several markings on the door and floor, some of which scare you. You got a bad feeling about this place. Let's inspect the supplies. You walk about the room, browsing through the dust-covered storage. You find some rope in one of the boxes. It feels strong to the touch and has minimal wear. You decide to take it. Let's go to the left door. You enter into a small room with a large hole in the wall. There are other objects in the room, but nothing interests you. Let's go back, because I think that's where we came from. The middle door. You enter a room full of metal cages. Before you is a hallway marked with questionable markings. You don't like the feeling you have about this place. Whatever was in these cages surely did not like to be locked up. You notice that there's an animal in the cage on the left of the room, but from the dark stains on its fur, it's dead. You cautiously walk down the hallway, entering a room with 2 cell doors. Oh, what's that? Before you can do anything, a large hound leaps in front of you. The beast doesn't look very vicious, but one wrong move could surely be the end of you. Realizing you're not prepared for a moment like this, you slowly back away towards the other room. To your dismay, the dog follows your every movement. Before you can do anything, the dog leaps at you. You don't survive long and die a painful death. Your adventure ends here. Okay, so let's take a different one this time. Let's just go forward. You cautiously step towards the darkness. You come to a divide. Let's go right. You hear a subtle echo of shifting rocks before you. Oh my god, what is that? An eye appears before you as its gaze pierces the darkness. Before you can do anything, the tentacles burst from the ground and grip your body. It pulls about you, but you resist as much as you can. Not sure what you can do, you continue to resist until you can think of something. Your body begins to grow weak as your strength burns away. You suddenly feel yourself pulled to the ground and you're dragged about like a rag doll. It's not long before the creature devours your body, leaving nothing behind. Your adventure ends here. Well, let's go to the right then. And to the right again. The passage soon ends with an enlarged mushroom sitting in front of you. A steady river of water flows between you and the mushroom. Inspect the mushroom. You walk towards the mushroom as if there was something more than what meets the eye. Walking forward, you take a step into the water. To your dismay, your foot hits no bottom and you fall in. You reach to grab hold of the edge of the surface, but your body freezes stiff. You lose your sight completely as the bone-chilling water sends your body into shock. Without any sense of touch and warmth, your lifeless body sinks to the darkness. Your adventure ends here. Oh my god. Okay. All right, so we have to go... Let's go right, and then let's go left this time. You walk forward into the darkness, unsure of what lies beyond. 2 paths. Let's go right. Ooh, a boat. As you make your way forward, you discover a large cavern. An old-looking ship rests against the edge of the lake with debris scattered about the surrounding area. Let's inspect it. You cautiously walk towards the ship. The air is chilling and you fear it won't be a good idea to stay too long. The possibility of discovering something that can help you drives you to explore. You climb aboard the ship. As you take a moment to observe your surroundings, you are only welcomed by the trickle of water brushing against the wood of the ship. You move about to see where you can go. Every footstep you take feels heavy as you hear the sound of wood cracking under your feet. You feel the ship has been here for quite some time. You explore under the deck of the ship. Nothing but the sound of your footsteps bounce about the structure of the ship. From one room to another, you come to discover a kitchen. Although there is nothing unique about it, you feel you should take a moment to inspect it. Inspect the drawers. You pull one out after another, finding that they have been emptied. Dust spreads about the air as you disturb their rest. Checking underneath, you discover a rusty knife resting on the floor. You find that there are plenty of hardened rat droppings dotting the edge of the wall. You take the knife in the hopes that you defend yourself with it. Inspect the oven. You see a lone pot resting upon a dusty stovetop. You gaze downward and open the oven door. Nothing but ash fills the oven chamber. You close the door. Okay, let's move on. You continue your lonely tour of the ship only to find that there is nothing of use or value. You make your way back to the deck and decide to continue your search. Again, you find nothing much but the empty rooms, left to remain in dark solitude. You discover a door with fancy markings about the woodwork. Perhaps this is where the captain resided? You discover the room of the captain. Unlike the other parts of the ship, everything seems to have been left alone in this room. For you rests an old wooden desk with papers and assumed belongings of the captain. There's a small bed off near the corner of the room and some chairs in the other. You have a feeling deep down that you shouldn't take anything. Other than the lamp and other objects, there's a small stack of papers in contrast to a lone paper resting by itself. Approaching the desk, you begin to inspect the papers resting on the desk. Let's look at the document. Notice to the crew. Due to our unexpected predicament, everyone is being split up into groups of 2 and 3. Scouting assignments will be given until we find a more habitable place to settle. For now, we must do what we can. Stack of papers. Peering about the pages of this collected pile of documents, you realize that most of these are personal notes or journal entries. You pick a few and begin to read. Day 7. The voyage has gone quite smooth as we begin our second week away from home. The spirits of the men are high as we anticipate the discovery of new lands that lie beyond our documented knowledge. It's been my dream to accomplish something world-changing. Together we move forward with full hearts and unbreakable spirits. Day 66. It's been just over 2 months out at sea and we have yet to discover anything new. We have suffered through many storms and sickness has plagued the ship recently. Several of my favored crew have passed to the next life. I see the growing doubt in the eyes of my fellow laborers as our voyage continues day after day. Food rations have been cut in half and fears that we may have to turn back. I dare not let myself think of failure. Those men who have lost their lives, the sacrifices to make this voyage possible, I cannot let them be in vain. Day 91. It has come to roughly 3 months out here on the endless blue. With much pain, we have turned around. Yes, we are headed for home port. We have just enough food to make it back. I just hope we have a smooth journey back. The spirits of the crew are low and bitter due to our failure. I do not let myself get caught up in the thinking of it. Truly, we did not intend for this to happen. Okay. Seeing that there's little left to see, you take your leave. Okay, let's go back. I guess go left. Move forward in the darkness. Okay, and then go left and then right, because we have a knife now, so we can go through there where the dog is. I think it was the middle door, I think is where the dog was. We have to go through here. There's the dog. Hound leaps in front of you. The beast doesn't look very vicious. You pull the knife and prepare for an attack. The dog reacts and starts to growl at you. The hound dashes at you and sinks. You don't survive. What? Okay, let's not do that door. Let's do the right door instead. You enter a small room. There's a large cauldron in the center of the room with wood resting beneath. There's nothing on the shelves, as if someone cleaned this place out. You look in the pot, but find nothing in it. With nothing else to see, you exit the room. Let's go to the door behind me. You walk up the steps. You enter a large room. The air is polluted with dust and spider webs cover the walls and ceilings. Let's go to the door. The door struggles to move, but you enter into what appears to be a spider den. The air is thick and the room is a mess of webs and body parts. You notice there's a couple items that could be useful. If nothing else, there's a key on the ground that you will no doubt need. Ah! Before you can even act, a large spider falls from above. You have no doubt it's hungry. Without hesitation, it attacks. You pull out your knife and stab the spider when you can, but unfortunately, the knife doesn't scare the spider and it bites you with ease. You begin to lose feeling all over your body and everything goes black. Your adventure ends here. I'm convinced that there's not a way to win. Let's go upstairs. You discover what looks like a private library. There's a passageway before you with bookcases on the left and right. Browse the books. You take a moment to look at the books. Some of them catch your eye. Forgotten power. Flipping through the pages, there is one in particular that has ink markings all over it. Raw energy is a powerful substance not to be trifled with. It is merely myth that such energies exist. One does not simply stumble upon a pillar of godly power, even if such fate is yours. Bare hands cannot contain the force. It must be bent and channeled into a specifically crafted vessel to carry it. There have been accounts across time of individuals possessing such power. Although they pass away as sand, their relics of power remain as powerful artifacts that nations around the world would fight for. Okay, let's move forward. You walk up more stairs. You pause as you notice a stone carving of a person praying that is attached to the wall. There's something odd about it, but you can't put your finger on it. With caution, you continue up the stairs. You enter a strange room with a large globe centered about the room. There are windows that let the light shine through. You notice that there's a chest resting against the wall to the right, and notice that there is another passageway like the previous room. Let's open the chest. Approaching the chest, you notice there's a lock fastened to it with no key. That's the key. Okay, so the key with the spider unlocks this chest. Inspect the globe. You study the globe attached to the floor surface. The craft is made of metal, and there's fine detail in the grooves. There are various markings and names scattered across the globe. It takes you a moment, but you find a marking of where you are, Aramor. You notice that there are some handwritten markings within the area made with black ink. There must be something close by that has interest to the author to make these markings. To add to the mystery, there are similar markings on other areas around the globe. Let's continue forward. You climb the stairs to find a wall ending your path. Above the end of the stairway is a hatch. Open the hatch. You open the hatch and pull yourself up. You've made it to the top of the tower. Before you is a stone of power resting upon an altar rock. Dark vines have entangled the structure as if they were feeding off the energies of the stone. Oh, this must be what's causing all the issues in the area. Your body begins to tremble as you stand before the stone. You definitely feel weaker being up here, as if the stone is sapping away your energy. Destroy the stone. This may be your only chance. You approach the stone and grasp onto it. You lose sight and feeling immediately as your hands become glued to the stone. Your life is drained from your body. Only bones remain to testify of your death. Your adventure ends here. All right. So I looked it up because I didn't want to just end the game not knowing how to play. Or how to win. So what we're going to do is we are going to go back to the main menu. We're going to start a new game. I'm going to follow this guide because apparently I've gotten almost all the achievements aside from one of them. So we are going to follow this guide and see if we can get the actual good ending. So skip. We are going to go to the crops. We are going to follow the path, continue down the path, continue, cross the bridge, take a nap, go left, follow the trail into the grass, inspect the grave, and then we are going to back away from the sword, which is not an option we chose last time. You listen to the specter and leave the sword. The figure fades out of view. Now, continue on. You pause to see that there's a lake nearby. The trail continues on your right. Oh, I didn't realize anything would happen if I did this. I thought it would just continue back where I was. Now we're going to continue along the trail. The faint trail comes to an end. There's a collection of stone pillars down the hill. Beyond the hill is a large field of grass. Explore the field. You find yourself gazing over a grass-filled field with hills rolling off into the distance. A unicorn! As if a trick upon your eyes, you see a unicorn run across the field. It disappears out of sight before you can do anything. Surely the unique powers of a unicorn can help you with your quest, but there is clearly something wrong. If only there was a way to charm it. Now we're going to go back, go to the grave, go back to the split, go right. Now we got to do the tree knob thingy, which is left, right, right. Go right, go left, and then go right. Now we gotta inspect the ship, inspect the drawers, move on, and leave. We're gonna go left, forward, right. Oh, okay, so because we had the knife, we begin to cut away at the appendages that bind us. I didn't even think to come back down here and try that. And then the room vibrates when you cut. The creature immediately leaves you alone. It takes you a moment to catch your breath. You come to a divide. Which way do you go? We are supposed to go right. The path you walk comes to an end. Before you shines a pillar of light. The light rests on a corpse that seems to have been here for quite some time. Near the corpse stands a flower. For some reason, you feel hope enter your heart as you gaze upon the flower. Surely this flower will ease the pain of the specter. You approach the flower and pluck it from the ground. There's something special about this flower. Light continues to pierce through the darkness from an opening above. Surely this gives you some hope that all is not lost. Seeing that there's nothing else for you here, you turn around. You come to a divide. Which way do you go? Left. And then left, and then right. Supplies for the rope. Door behind you. Outside. So we're similar to what we did before. Exit. I don't know why we're doing this. Go to where the path splits. Go left. Continue. Inspect well. Oh, we have a rope now, so grab the coin. You pull the rope you found earlier and fasten it to the well. You climb down with these and obtain the coin. You struggle to pull yourself out of the well, and you do so successfully. You then loosen the rope and store it. Now we're going to go back down the grass trail. Follow the trail in the grass. We're going to inspect the grave. I reach for the flower and give it to the spirit. The spirit grabs the flower from your hand as you extend it to him. Oh, okay. Gotcha. A faint whisper dances about the air. I am free at last. You feel a sense of relief within you and reach for the sword. You now wield the special sword. Now we are going to continue on. Inspect the lake. You step near the lake and look down. Resting underwater is an orb of some sort sitting on the bottom of the lake. There's something strange about it, as if it were calling out to you. Dive in. You close your eyes and jump into the lake. You open your eyes to see the stone sitting before you. You start to make your way towards it. Oh, God! A large fish comes into view. It quickly notices you with its mouth stretched open. You grab your sword and hold it close, pointed at the fish. The fish swims at you with haste. Just as it gets in range, you thrust the sword into the top of the mouth. The sword penetrates and goes through the forehead of the fish. It struggles about in pain as blood filters through the water. You pull the sword out and the fish retreats out of sight. You doubt it will live long. With the fish no longer a threat, you make your way to the orb. Holding it in your hands, you feel it vibrate as if there's an energy inside trying to break loose. This must be important. You exit the lake with the orb. Now we have to go back to the grave. Go back, go right, go to the gate, enter. Inspect the fountain. Feel a slight pull from the fountain as if it were calling you. You pull the coin you found, and toss it into the water. The coin disappears with a subtle splash. The water then fizzles for a moment, quickly returning to a lifeless state. This must mean something. Enter the tower. Go through the far door. Okay, and then the spider. Without hesitation, the spider attacks you. Pull your sword and stab the spider as it lunges. Over and over, you stab the monster. Each time it squeals in pain. The spider flees into the darkness overhead. You hear it motioning about possibly to strike again. You notice the key on the ground close by your feet. Before more trouble happens, you quickly grab the key and make for the door. Now we are going to go upstairs. Move forward. Open the chest. Approaching the chest, you notice it's locked. Fastened to it with a key you found earlier. You've tried out of the lock. The lock clicks loose and you open the chest. You discover a wooden harp resting on the linen cloth. Great. You take the harp and close the chest. Now we go downstairs. Go downstairs. Downstairs. Middle door. You pull the harp and begin to pluck the strings. The hound begins to wag its tail. To your surprise, the beast walks away as if it were charmed. You never gave it much thought how powerful music can be. Cell door on the left. You open the door to find a skeleton positioned in the corner of the room. There's also a bed and some chains attached to the wall. You have no doubt this individual was locked up for some time. Inspecting the skeleton, you notice a ring on one of the bone fingers. There's a faint glow of light emanating from the ring, as if it were magical. You may find such a ring useful. You take the ring and put it on with the perfect fit. Seeing there is nothing else, you leave the cell. Leave. Door behind you. Outside. Gated area. Path split. Left. Follow the trail in the grass. Continue. Explore the field. Okay, I gotta tame the unicorn now. You suddenly remember the harp you found earlier. With the harp in hand, you pluck the strings. The soothing calm comes over you as you listen. The unicorn appears into view and stops before you. The unicorn glares at you and begins to hear a faint voice in your head. Human, have ear for my words. A great evil has gripped this land and has rendered me powerless. You must find some way to stop it. I wish I could help you, but without my full power, I can do little. The fate of the land depends on you. Before you could speak, the unicorn turns and runs off again. You realize that you are alone to complete this quest of yours. This is no longer about saving your farm. You must save the whole land from the spreading darkness. You turn back as you question what you should do next. Inspect the pillars. You stand before the large stones arranged in the shape of a circle. In the center of the stones is a stone with what appears to be some sort of slot or hole. No doubt about it, something is meant to be placed here. You remember the orb you found on the floor of the lake. You place the orb in the slot carved into the center rock. The stones that surround you begin to glow. The light radiates and glows brighter. With a flash of light, your surroundings change. The ground no longer is grass. The newly discovered floor appears to be very old, as if crafted by somebody long ago. Rubble and stone near the edges of the platform also hint that this is an ancient place. Looking onward at the end of the pathway is a fountain of light. There seems to be no beginning or end, an endless power steadily flowing. You're amazed at such light. Approach the light. Light intrigues you and you walk towards it. Rays of light brush about you as if they are seeking to break away from its home. You remember the ring you found and point it towards the light. Your hand trembles as the light flows into it. Before you can think, the ring begins to burn and you stumble back. The light shines brightly from the ring. You notice a subtle warmth to it. You feel that you accomplished what you must do here. You pick up the orb. With the orb back in your possession, you walk towards the trail. Okay, go back to grave, go back, go right, go to gate, enter tower, upstairs. Now we're gonna go all the way up. Move forward, continue forward, open hatch. Okay, now we can destroy this thing. Your body begins to tremble as you stand before the stone. You feel weaker being up here as if the stone is sapping your energy. Destroy the stone. You stretch forth your fist and point the ring at the stone. You can feel a resistance as if the stone is trying to defend itself. You try to keep hope and focus on the ring. A burst of light shoots from the ring, penetrating the stone. You feel the very air shake about. The ground beneath your feet begins to vibrate. The ring becomes heavier to hold in place, but you know that it's working. You feel confident and a sense of joy sweep over you. The light intensifies, nearly blinding you. The ground beneath you shakes violently as if the tower itself was trying to stop you. What little fear in you becomes powerless as you focus on your task. Everything goes white, blinding you completely. A weird sensation comes over you, and you feel as light as a feather. You begin to feel a tingling sensation all over your body as you hone your senses. The feeling suddenly flees your body as you find yourself motionless. Everything is cold, and your ability to concentrate begins to leave you. You open your eyes, witnessing what is left of the tower. You begin to feel something. Warmth, light, it's coming back. You lack the strength to talk as the unicorn comes into view. Light emanates from the horn on its head. All you can do is smile as the creature approaches. The light intensifies. You may have saved the land, but the unicorn has come to save you. Your adventure does not end here. And that is, I think, the only good ending, or one of the good endings. There are more endings that I did not get, so you should go check that out for yourself. This game was free on Steam. It is called Disturbed. It's from 2016. It's really good. I'm shocked at the amount of gameplay, so I highly recommend you go check it out, especially if you like choose your own adventure, like text-based. I would say it's more, it's visual novel, yeah, but it's text-based too. So if you like that, go check it out. If you liked watching me, come back every day of the week for more videos. I do different things every day, so you'll have to look at my schedule on my About Me thing. Follow me at the links below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.